Crime doesn't speak one language, and the most gripping stories don't always come from the West. Welcome to the Red Tapes, where we explore the most shocking real-life crimes from across the Arab world and the Middle East. Murders that shook entire cities, cases that gripped millions, and stories you've probably never heard, but won't forget. The accidental discovery of a human bone became the key to uncovering the most important criminal case in Egypt's modern history. Over 100 years have passed since that discovery, but even today, it remains intriguing. The case is so bizarre, it has inspired countless artistic and literary works, not to mention movies and TV series in Egypt. It all started back in 1920. A group of workers were digging to repair a damaged sewage pipe in a residential area of Alexandria. During the excavation, they broke a large main pipe. While attempting to fix the damage, one of the workers uncovered a human bone and handed it over to the police. The authorities sent the bone to the forensic medicine department in Cairo, where it landed in the hands of Dr. Sidney Smith. His task was to determine whether the bone belonged to a human or an animal. As soon as he examined it, he confirmed it was human. That's when security forces decided to launch a thorough sweep of the area surrounding the dig site. Soon after, they began to find more skeletal remains, a growing number of human bones. The trail led them to the drainage system of a nearby house, connected to the same broken sewage line. Investigators called on Dr. Smith again to accompany them and personally inspect the house. It was a modest home, cracked walls, worn tiles, and part of the flooring already removed. Dr. Smith ordered them to dig deeper. Almost immediately, they uncovered a shallow grave, the skeleton of a young woman. From the condition of the body, it was clear the burial had been recent. An autopsy revealed the cause of death: manual strangulation. As the digging continued, security forces found 7 bodies placed side by side as if in a mass grave, and underneath those, 7 more, arranged the same way, a total of 14 bodies. The scene was horrifying. No one could believe that such a horrific crime had been committed in an ordinary home, in a crowded neighborhood with no one noticing a thing. No incident reports, no suspicious neighbors, no public alerts. If that pipe hadn't burst, this secret would have remained buried forever. All 14 bodies were sent to the forensic department. Dr. Smith began examining them one by one in an attempt to unravel what he would later describe as the most mysterious case he had ever encountered since arriving in Egypt. From his analysis, he estimated the time of death varied between victims. The oldest body had likely been buried around 2 years earlier. All the victims were female, all died the same way, strangled by hand. This was confirmed by marks left on their necks. The women were aged between 18 and 35 years. Many of the bodies bore signs of female circumcision, which at the time was a common practice among Muslim families, helping investigators narrow down their religious and cultural identity. Dr. Smith also noted that several of the women showed pelvic signs of childbirth, while all retained their pubic hair, and other signs that were socially associated at the time with women working in prostitution. This observation became a key lead. Using registry files of licensed sex workers, the police began identifying some of the victims. Since prostitution was legal in Egypt at the time, the process was straightforward. Each registered woman had medical records and identification documents. This also explained why no families filed missing persons reports on many of the victims. Many families had disowned their daughters once they entered sex work. Within a short period, authorities were able to identify every body. From there, they traced the victims back to the house's occupants. 2 sisters, Raya Ali Hammam and Sakina Ali Hammam, both were arrested, along with their husbands, Hasabala and Abdel Al. But before diving into the full investigation, we need to understand who Raya and Sakina were and who the men involved really were. Raya Ali Hammam was born in 1875. Her sister Sakina followed about 10 years later. Their origins trace back to Upper Egypt, though no one knows the exact village. Some accounts suggest they were from Aswan. After their father passed away, their mother moved them to her hometown, Kafr el-Zayat. Following local traditions, Raya was married off young. Her first husband died, leaving her with a single son. Again, following custom, she was forced to marry her deceased husband's brother, Hasabala, who was several years younger than her. Her son, the reason she married Hasabala in the first place, died shortly after. Raya and Hasabala had 5 children, but only one daughter survived, Badia. Raya was deeply in love with Hasabala. Determined not to lose him or have him marry someone else, she took on the financial responsibility of supporting him and their child. Before moving to Alexandria, the couple worked in cotton ginning. Raya also helped her mother sell tea on the street or sold vegetables herself. Sakina, on the other hand, chose a different path. She entered prostitution early and developed a severe alcohol addiction, often reaching the point of stripping off her clothes just to buy more alcohol. At the time, sex work in Egypt was licensed and regulated. Women had to undergo medical exams to get approved and were registered with authorities. One day, while in the city of Tanta, the owner of a large brothel noticed Sakina and recruited her. But life shifted again when Sakina became ill and was hospitalized. There, she met a hospital orderly named Ahmed Ragab. They fell in love, fled together, and married in Alexandria. Meanwhile, back in Kafr el-Zayat, Hasabala was arrested for theft and sentenced to 6 months. After release, he continued stealing, working with Raya's brother, Abu el-Ala. At one point, they framed Raya for one of their crimes, landing her in jail for 3 months. After she was released, she followed them to Alexandria. Around that time, World War I broke out. Egypt's economy worsened. Poverty and crime surged. Sakina returned to prostitution to support her unemployed husband, sister, and extended family. Eventually, her husband left to work for the British Army under forced labor. When Sakina assumed he had died, she quickly entered a new relationship with Mohammed Sadat, a wealthy man. But when she met Abdel Al, she fell in love instantly, choosing to live with him unmarried. To keep him, she supported him financially as well. The 4, Raya, Sakina, Hasabala, and Abdel Al, decided to open a brothel. Raya was in charge of attracting women. Sakina ran the operations. The men handled security and alcohol. But Raya envied the women who worked for her. They wore gold and saved money, while her own husband took everything she earned. So she came up with a new plan: rob the sex workers she lured in. For years, these women vanished without a trace. All cases were marked unknown assailant and closed. Then in 1920, a newspaper published news of the arrest of Mahmoud Alam, known as the Butcher of Tanta. He confessed to murdering women for their gold and dumping the bodies in canals. At the same time, reports of missing women in Alexandria grew, and police assumed Mahmoud was also behind those cases. This gave Raya and Sakina confidence. The public suspected someone else entirely, but 3 more bodies were found in a second property they owned, a bar and brothel where Sakina herself lived. Dr. Sidney Smith's forensic report finally connected all the dots. The police reopened the investigation and confirmed Mahmoud Alam had no link to the Alexandria crimes. The real killers were Raya and Sakina and their entire circle. In May 1921, Raya Ali Hammam, Sakina Ali Hammam, Hasabala, Abdel Al, and Orabi were all sentenced to death by hanging. Raya and Sakina became the first women executed in modern Egyptian history. Strangely, none of them expressed regret. During her execution, Sakina was smiling, calling herself a strong woman unshaken by death. Abdel Al even claimed he was a hero for ridding Egypt of prostitutes, and said he would have killed more if he'd had the chance. Some modern revisionists have tried to paint Raya and Sakina as freedom fighters who killed British officers. But that theory doesn't stand up to facts or court records. If they were truly national heroes, the Waft Party, which supported real resistance fighters at the time, would have honored them. But there is no historical evidence to support the claim. All documents, confessions, and official files clearly describe serial murder, not heroism. All victims were female sex workers, not a single male victim, not a single British officer. Over a century later, Raya and Sakina remain among the most cold-blooded serial killers in Egypt's history. Their planning was methodical. Their roles were clearly divided. No outsiders were involved. The secret stayed hidden for years, until that pipe cracked open the truth. This was the red tapes, and this was the story of Raya and Sakina.